So, gotta go for my deck profile. Today, mainly about this guy, Gravekeeper's Chief. He's a 1900 5-star that revives a Gravekeeper from your grave. It means your graveyard's not affected by Necro values when he's on the field, but that doesn't really matter because we're not playing Necro value in this deck. Try to make this one as competitive as possible because it's an idea that I've been toying with for a really long time. There is a more control-y version of this deck that I will be showing at some point that like runs more copies of this guy and makes more use of the Gravekeeper cards. This is more of a little engine as part of like a more meta deck. So we've got just one of this guy working really well at that ratio. 2 is a bit too much. You've got the best Gravekeepers, in my opinion. You've got Gravekeeper Spy, 3 of, obviously, recruits another Gravekeeper to the field when it's flipped. Very good 2k defense. And you've got Gravekeeper's Guard, another really cool card. It targets a monster when it's flipped and it bounces it to the hand. 1900 defense, big booty. And the way that I thought to use this handsome guy is with this card, Card of Safe Return. Only running 2 copies, you can run 3, just gets a bit cloggy. The way I try and use this card is just to get as much advantage out of it as possible before my opponent MSTs it or Heavy Storms, and just try and keep getting advantage from it. The way that we do this is by Rite of Spirit. Again, this is just a one-of. This is a monster reborn for any Gravekeepers. You can put it in attack or defense, and it actually says that on the card because it's such an old card. And it doesn't tie it to the monster, so if this gets MST'd or anything like that, you still keep your dude. Very nice. Because this guy is a tribute, I decided to go down the route of Thunder Dragon. Very good for putting lights in your grave, very good for just general hand advantage and for tribute cards such as Brain Control. Decided to go with this over Soul Exchange. Soul Exchange is nice because you can hit face downs, but this one is more meta relevant in my opinion because you can Brain Control a Soak or a BLS and just remove it for free. Well, not for free, for 800 life, but pretty much for free. And then because we're running Thunder Dragons as well as some other discardy stuff, I decided to go with Card Destruction as a way to put Gravekeepers into the grave from hand. So then you can bring them back with your Revive stuff. This is the most recent addition to the deck. It's a really solid one in my opinion. It turbos into Sangan. Obviously it's Mystic Tomato, or looks a bit more like a pumpkin in this art. But yeah, turbos into Sangan, which searches basically your whole deck, and you can keep reviving this guy and keep getting searches, keep getting pluses from your Card of Safe Returns, so really good for that. And it also turbos into your Gravekeeper Spy. Obviously it comes out in attack mode, so you need to be careful about how you play this. Don't play this if your opponent's already got a monster and you don't have a Sangan in deck, because then they'll just kill the tomato and then they can kill the spy as well because it's only got 1200. But if you get it out and your opponents didn't have any monsters and now they've only got one, switch it to defense. It's just a nice big body. Or best case scenario, you've got Card of Safe Return and you've got your big Gravekeeper's Chief. And next up we have needed some more lights, so decided to go with Magical Merchant. Don't set this until you've drawn your Thunder Dragon to get them out of the deck, because there's nothing worse than setting this and then it mills a Thunder Dragon and then you draw a Thunder Dragon. Other than that, really good, puts Gravekeepers in the grave. It is level 1, so you could potentially run like Metamorphosis and Sinister Serpent, because we do run Magician of Faith, but I'm not running that in this build. That would also help with, you could also run like a Scapegoat for the Metamorphosis, and then that would help you bring out your tribute. So ideas to think about. Decided to go with Night Assailant, which is pretty cool, like lore-wise, because I think this is Gravekeeper's spy after she dies or some shit. Really good with card destruction and Graceful Charity. Just a good set in general. It's just like a man-eater bug, and when it's discarded, you get to add back any flip. So that can be spy, that can be merchant, it can be Magician of Faith, which is a really good one because you can keep using Premature Burial if you've used it, and keep getting advantage out of your card of safe return. Next up, we've got Breaker, just a stable. Warriors are really, really annoying, so you want all the good spell and trap hate that you can run. And then just the standard Chaos lineup of 1 Blus and 1 Chaos Sorcerer. 2 Chaos Sorcerer. You could find room for 3, you could play more than 40 cards to run 3. I've never liked running 3 Chaos Sorcerer because it's dead early game. You're going to be likely to draw it turn 1 if you run 3. And yep, 2's working really well. You've got the 2 Magician of Faith that I spoke about earlier. This is really important because you can add back your card of safe return if it gets MST'd too soon before you've managed to get like multiple draws out of it. And obviously you can add it back with the Night Assailant, and it's just generally a really good card. We do run like some sort of fancy spell cards as well, so we can add those back. So Moth Tends to Be Live. This is the best card in the deck. This keeps your advantage engine going with your card of safe return, Premature Burial, pay 800 life points. We are paying quite a bit of life points in this deck with the brain controls and the trying to constantly reuse Prem. So I'm not playing like Song of Judgment or anything like that, and there's some other cards we'll get to that pay life points as well. We've got 1 Book of Moon, really versatile card. You can use it to reset your shit. You can use it defensively to kill something with low defense. For every noise, we've got this boy. My Body is a Shield. I decided to run this. This is another one that costs lots of life points, 1500. Decided to run this because of all the flips, and knock really hurts this deck, so I decided to include this because if your Gravekeeper Spy gets knocked, it is horrendous, pretty much. So it's a really nice card to have to set with the Spy, turn 1. Really strong. Speaking of knock, I'm not running knock because of like Chaos Warriors are pretty prevalent at the minute, and knock is just a dead card against them. If you go against like Harm or something like that, one of like rogue Reasoning Gate decks, yeah, you don't want to have knock in your deck, so I decided just to side deck it. It's working out alright, pretty good. I've got a Snatch Steal, obviously broken with your tribute monsters. We have a Delinquent Duo. Like I say, I was trying to make this deck competitive. Delinquent Duo helps with that. You've got Pot of Greed. Obviously, Graceful Charity is fucking busted in this deck because you've got all the discards, apart from Sinister Serpent, but you could potentially find room for that, maybe play some discardy traps as well. You've got MST and Heavy Storm, best back row removal. You've got Ring of Destruction, obviously very stable. Torrential Tribute. You can build up quite a big board with this deck, so there is an argument to like cut this and run like Sakuretsu instead, or maybe it's a Solemn Judgment. But the way I play this deck is like quite conservative. I try and like set up the big card of safe return plays and wait till I can like make that big push and just play it quite passively up until that point. So Torrential helps out with that. Mirror Force, obviously, you're never not going to run that. Cold Hunted, obviously busted in here because you also get a draw with your card of Safe Return. And the last card is Destinator. Extra spell and trap removal, always going to be good against warriors and their fucking 20 trap card shenanigans. And yeah, just good against pretty much everything at the minute. So yeah, that's the deck. Let me know what you think. I'm really loving playing this at the minute. I've been testing it out against my Reasoning Gate deck, which is pretty standard, so I don't think I'm going to do a profile on that, but I'll come up with something for the next profile, something a little bit interesting. So yeah, stick around for that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.